Hey guys, welcome to Digit.in. We know how much you guys love gaming laptops, PCs, etc. So today we're going to review the Alienware M15. Now Alienware launched the M15 in India a few weeks ago, and there were two colors launched, and of the two colors there are multiple specifications. What Alienware sent us was this gorgeous nebula red finish, and it's powered by the Intel i7-8750H processor paired with 16 gigs of RAM, a terabyte of NVMe storage, and best of all, an NVIDIA RTX 2070. So coming to performance right off the bat, first we've got a bunch of games that we threw at this machine, which included Metro Exodus, which has been a very demanding game for any kind of configuration you may have. We've got Doom, we've got Battlefield 5, Apex Legends, you name it, we got it. So we noticed that on Doom set to 1080p and full ultra settings, the game managed to have an average FPS of 90 frames per second. That's pretty commendable for a machine of this caliber. Metro Exodus, we saw slightly lower numbers, the ultra setting, of course this being with RTX turned on. Now with Battlefield 5, we saw better numbers in the range of 70 to 73 FPS average with RTX and DLSS turned on. Games like Apex Legends, Crysis 3, even Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice ran butter smooth with over an average FPS of 100. Of course, thanks to the fact that this is a full HD display IPS panel with a 144Hz refresh rate, of course all the games looked really good in terms of their color reproduction, and of course thanks to the 2070, the frame rates were pretty amazing. We also tested the games at their one lower than the highest graphical settings. Games name them differently, so for the sake of convenience we call them high, but you can see all of the average frame rate numbers on the screen right now. So of course this machine can obviously run games really well, but it can also handle tasks like photo editing and video editing easily. We loaded up 500 raw files from a Nikon D850 into Lightroom and tried to figure out how long it would take for Lightroom to export a set of 50, 100 and then 500 full-size JPEG files. So of course once again the numbers are very impressive. 50 files took under 2 minutes, 100 files are about 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and 500 files, well, that did take a while, which is normal. And same way for 4K video editing. Now if you're loading up 4K files directly into Premiere on a 4K timeline, yes, you will have issues with scrubbing, you will have issues with playback where you will have to drop quality in the monitor to about 50%. However, if you use proxy, then you're looking at extremely smooth playback of your edits, depending of course on how many effects you load up on there, and then render times are also fairly impressive even if you're using X265 encoders. So in terms of performance, there is very little room to complain, but all of this does come at a cost. The cost of heat. We noticed that every time the laptop was under severe or heavy load, the heat coming out of the exhaust clocked 62 degrees on our temperature gun. While that is kind of understandable, you know, the components will get hot, the CPU does run hot, and the exhaust heat will be pretty high. What was surprising was finding that the WASD keys, the keys that gamers would probably use the most on this laptop, ran as hot as almost 43 degrees Celsius. So yeah, of course, this kind of temperature on your primary gaming keys is not at all a good sign. And we in fact found that trying to play Doom for about 15 minutes made so that the finger, one of our fingers almost, actually my finger felt it was almost burning. So, you know, that's something that maybe Alienware would have to look at the next iteration of this laptop. However, if you're going to be using an external keyboard and an external mouse, you're going to be totally fine. The other impressive thing about the Alienware M15 is the selection of ports it offers. You've got Thunderbolt, you've got USB 3.0, you've got HDMI, you've even got Alienware's dedicated external GPU port on this, which is pretty amazing given that this is not their top of the line gaming laptop. That would be the Area 51M, that will probably come to us for review later. So even in terms of ports, you're not going to find yourself, you know, short of any kind of connections. So that's again very impressive. Other part, now let's talk about the design. The new Alienware M15 is, according to Alienware, their thinnest and smallest 15-inch gaming laptop. We can see why. Now it's got a very unique finish. The top is not flat. The front side of it is angled, very typical of Alienware to use straight lines and edges well. It measures just 2.1 inches thick, which surprisingly is actually even thinner than Asus's ROG Scar 2, which measures at 2.4 inches. This laptop is also lighter at about 2.1 kilograms. I mean, relatively lighter, but what makes up for the lightweight of the laptop is the power brick, which is pretty massive and big. So the power brick, it's a big power brick, you know, because the machine does require quite a bit of power. So to conclude this review, let's get straight to the point. Would you buy an Alienware M15 to game on? Of course, it runs every game that we've thrown at it very well. Could you attach an external monitor and run it through that? Of course. You have a 144Hz panel on the machine itself, sadly without G-Sync, but that's to keep, you know, battery life in mind. The keyboard is very nice, which offers good travel, very good feedback, and it's not spongy like most keyboards in this price segment. It offers good feedback is what I would say, not stiff. And of course there's the 4-zone RGB lighting that you can control through the Alienware Command Center. So again, you get the best of everything. Enough ports to connect all of your peripherals and great display, and of course all of it being powered by a 60 watt-hour battery, which, well, honestly, you don't want to game on a laptop battery. Have it plugged in at all times. With an overall digit rating of 84, we note that the performance of the Alienware M15 is very impressive. The display is pretty color accurate. It has very uniform color reproduction. The Alienware M15 offers great selection of ports, the keyboard is nice, and all in all, it's a very good looking laptop. The downside, however, is that we feel that the heat could have been better managed, especially on the WASD keys, which is what gamers would use the most. And of course, we would obviously love it if Alienware had made this laptop a little lighter, a little thinner, but hopefully that will happen in the next iteration. So thank you guys for watching this video. In case you want more details about the Alienware M15, you can just read our review, which has plenty of benchmark numbers, game numbers, etc. Or for news and reviews on other laptops and other technology, you can just follow our channel, so you can hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching.